just want to show you guys something. Oh, Mercer is getting busy again. I thought this guy quit. Anyway, that was the D-ring that they reattached, and I asked him at the Wabash shop, I asked him if I should replace these, and they say no, as long as there's no cracks. And when they attached this one, they painted it so it looked like shiny black new, so I'm just gonna do the same with these ones. And what they did over here, oh shoot, it's all covered in dirt, but that's where the hole was. And you can see they put, I guess they didn't have the wide board, so they put two of these. But you know, this is oak, so normal hole. And one more thing I did on that day when I was fixing the trailer, see this tank over here, right? I called the Drive Products in Mississauga and I asked them about the size, and they said, oh, that's probably 20 liters, like 10 gallons. No, maybe wait, 10 gallons is 37 liters. But they said the smallest one is the smallest one, hold on, yeah, I cannot put my camera. So the smallest tank is like 10 gallons, but of course I don't need that much. But what I did is, because I've been running into trouble with oil, even like a very mild temperature, so the Wabash guys told me that there's this Monarch oil company, and he says they sell this, what it's known as like, wait a second, why am I pointing this way? Sorry, I was pointing the wrong way. So yeah, they're selling this what they call it, like Arctic, he said Arctic Blue, but this guy said when I went there, he says we call it snowplow oil, because that's what snow plows by, you know, because this thing, you know, allows them to operate the snow plow without freezing, you know. And sorry, I think so I guess I was holding the camera wrong way, so I didn't see that. But what I wanted to show you guys, yeah, is this. So the boards are new, so no more hole, and the D-ring is reattached. Everything's cool, except that now I lost one block because that stupid machine in Sterling, Virginia broke one of my blocks. So now instead of 4 I have 3, which is not good. So if I get a load where I need to block stuff, you know, I need to find another 8x8 block, or I don't know, change the trailer. Yesterday I was looking for a load, couldn't find anything, you know, on the board, and I started looking at trailers, and there was one, pretty much the same trailer, 55 ton, but flat deck, 18 inches off the ground, and the price was cheaper than mine, you know, and it's here in Canada. You know, I called the guy, I said, hey, you want to do a trade? I'll give you this one with the flip axle, give me that one. How is that? Oh, I'll get back to you. And the guy disappeared. Anyway, but then, you know, it's one of those things. None of the trailers is perfect, right? Because turns out my permit company gave me a wrong information about Maryland, and it was partially their fault because they were so gullible. Like, I asked the girl, I said, how long have you been doing this, like these permits? And she says, and she got of course slightly offended, and she says, 8 years. So basically she told me, because she called Maryland DOT and somebody told her that when your gross is over 120,000 pounds with a load, you need a bond on file. And because of that, when I was booking permits for this aircraft tractor, which I couldn't do, right? But still, all the permits were booked. I had to go through, you know, Virginia versus Virginia, if you remember, right? And so, which added 400 miles to the route. And of course, because these are permitted miles, those 3 permits, Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, because of so many miles, cost me, she just sent me a bill. With her fees, it's like $900 Canadian, you know, and she already paid, so she charges me. And then I just, basically yesterday, right, I was getting frustrated with this because there were a bunch of loads out of Maryland, out of the port, and I'm thinking, oh, and I cannot do them, you know, like there was a load, one broker sent me, he says, can you do this? And it's 86,000 pounds. I know I can do that. I did loads under 90, you know, lots of times, but it's in Maryland. And I said, well, according to the information from my permit company, I need a bond. And actually I started the process of getting that bond, and then my insurance agent found out which bond, and then he says, okay, you have to fill out the bottom of the page here. And I said, wait, before I do that, how much is this? Like, how much money do they want? And he says 450 US. And he says, please verify this is the bond you need. And I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to know? You know, like, I ask you to find out because you're my insurance agent, right? And because my permit company told me I need a bond, and it's kind of like performance bond or something, basically saying that this will cover the BOT of Maryland DOT in case you damage some roads, you know. And so because the guy wanted me to verify the bond, he says, just, is this the correct one? And I, you know, I don't want to pay 450 US for something I don't need. And so I decided just to pick up the phone, and I tried before, nobody was answering, or there was voicemail. So now I tried yesterday, just pick up the phone, and I went to the website, found the, you know, phone number, and I just called, you know, this hauling department in Maryland DOT. And I said, can I talk to somebody in permits? And hold on. And some lady picks up. I said, I'm trying to find out which bond I need, because I was told anything over 120,000 gross, you know, 60 tons imperial. And this lady says, oh, no, that legislation has been changed. I said, what? I missed a couple of loads because of this, because I was told, you know, I cannot do them without a bond. She says, no, yeah, a couple of years ago, she says, it was over 120,000, you needed a bond because it was considered a super load. She says, now it's been changed to 150. So only if your gross over 150,000 pounds, you're considered a super load, and you need to have a bond on file with us, with the Maryland DOT. And that's when I called my permit company. I said, how long have you been doing this, you know? And I said, now you send me this bill. So basically, information is, that's the old saying, you know, information is power. Information is money, you know? Because with the wrong information, you see what happened? I lost money on the permits, and I lost money because I couldn't do the load. Like, otherwise, like, she sent me this lady, like the broker, she sent me this load out of Baltimore. She said, I think it was like 3 days ago, you know. So I could have, when I could not do this aircraft, I don't know why I'm pointing that way, like there's nothing on my deck, but I keep pointing at my trailer. So when I cannot do that aircraft tractor, I could just you know, I was near Washington, right? I could have just driven to Baltimore, which is like an hour and a half away, and picked up that one, right? Anyway, maybe it's time to look for a new, you know, new trucking, new permit company. I don't know. in other news, I decided to check with the Kenworth and see what's happening with the Kenworth, you know, manufacturing process. Like I usually, when this guy gave me the quote almost a year ago, I was checking in like every few months, you know, and see, that's kind of axle that I need. You see this in front? That's definitely 20,000 pounds. Oh, and a super single pusher. I love this. And so yeah, I call Kenworth and I said, can I talk to Jim, my favorite Kenworth salesman? And they said, Jim is not here anymore. So what do you mean? Oh, he left. Basically, he quit. And I said, really? Is that because I didn't buy the truck? No, I didn't say that, but I guess the business was not very good. And actually, I know that he before he used to sell Peterbilt trucks, you know. And I'm just wondering, maybe he went back to selling Peterbilts. I don't know. Anyway, so now these guys, a big, huge dealership in Cambridge, on the border with Kitchener, they have only one sales guy, Chris. And I say, like, what happened? Like, you only have one sales guy? And he says, yeah, that's how it was before. And then this guy Jim came over, and then Jim left, and this guy Chris says, he had been there like 20 years, you know. So anyway, I sent him this spec. I said, this is what we came up with Jim. I really want to get this truck. And I said, what are the build times for, like, what's the fastest truck Kenworth can build? And he said, if you're looking for something like this, like 4-axle heavy haul truck, he says, it's 880. He says, if you order 880 right now, middle of December, it'll be ready last week of January. I said, really? Okay. What about T800? He says, no, that one is longer. You know? So see what they're doing? Because that's an older model, so of course they probably, you know, they try, of course, to push the new one, right? So they're switching the whole process to the new model. Yeah, and I don't care anymore about these air cleaners, you know. Like, I never had them on, like you guys probably know, I never drove a classic truck. All my trucks were set back axle, and they all had inside air elements. And the 880 is the interior is much better, right? Because it's been redesigned based on the feedback from truckers, and the cab is wider. And so I sent this old spec to this guy, and I said, could you please adapt this to T880 just with 4 minor changes? I said, so yeah, one is switch from T800 to T880. Number 2, change the color from red to black. And number 3, because on that one I spec 24.5 tires, because I need to raise the truck a little bit, otherwise with this trailer I cannot use gooseneck position number 1. My truck is too low, because the gooseneck in the specs for this trailer, it says gooseneck height 50 inches, and my fifth wheel, the top of my fifth wheel on this Mac is 48, just a little bit over 48. So, and that's why I told the guy I want to switch to 24.5 tire, just to make it about 1 inch taller, and also it's a better riding tire. I think it's better for heavy haul, and it's stronger, right? You don't get a higher rating per axle because of that tire, but it's much stronger, and then I can go with 4:10 ratio. So in the future, if it's not enough, you know, you already have 4:10 ratio, all you gotta do is just change your wheels to 22.5, and you will have a real 410, because 410 with 24.5 tire, it's the same as 391. And this guy I know from Lansta, he pulls super heavy loads with a T800 Kenworth, and he has 391 with regular 22.5 tires, and he says 391 works okay for, like, you know, when he pulls a 55-ton trailer, but when he's doing heavy loads, he often wishes that he had 410, you know. And so when you have a 410 with bigger tires, it gives you that kind of like a reserve option, right? You can always, it's cheaper to change wheels, well, a little bit cheaper to, instead of doing the axle ratio change, it's cheaper just to switch wheels and then do alignment, right? Just in case, you know, for the future, it gives you some options. But the guy spec'd a fifth wheel. We went with like 9 3/4 tall fifth wheel, and that's a bit too tall. And so I asked this guy, yeah, just reduce the fifth wheel height a little bit. And what else? Oh, and I said I want the bunk. If I go with this 880, I want the bunk to be bigger. I mean the sleeper to be bigger to accommodate two beds, 2 bunks. And I said I want, if possible, I want the bottom one to be a folding table, so you can use it as a table or you can use it as a bed, you know. And that's all I changed on the spec. So black color, T880, slightly lower fifth wheel, and 2 bunks in the sleeper, with one acting as a table. And that's what I really like, you know, especially in winter. I like sleeping on the second level because it's warmer, and I would just keep the bottom as my office, right? So it's always like a table, so you can do your paperwork, you know, not like half lying on the bed, but sitting like a human being, you know. I wished for that one for a long time. And so today's Saturday, so I'm just heading over to a coffee shop here. Gonna do this video, you know, watch some videos on YouTube, enjoy the weekend. So no loads till Monday, just relaxing, taking it slow, enjoying the good life of a heavy hauler, and thinking hard about my permit company. Maybe I should change permit companies, because these guys are costing me money. 8 years. Don't get me started. She's been doing it 8 years, and she did not know the regulations for Maryland. Well, and I asked her, and she said, well, I was told this, you know. Anyway, don't get me started about these permit companies. Okay, can these guys go forward or will they have to back? You know, when I park, I always kind of like, this is not a good area. There's people cutting through here, through the parking lot. No, I think it's gonna be okay. No, maybe I park in my favorite spot over here, where the taxi cab was parked. There's nobody here. Nobody will hit me over here. So the truck is, you know, ready to go, right? I really like that I bought that oil, because the hydraulic was just freezing, you know. And now it was on sale. That big pail was the guy said the normal price is 150 Canadian. Now it was 125, and I was not sure if I need to buy two, but then I asked him, I said, I'll probably just leave a little bit of that. If I'm short, I'll just leave a little bit of the oiled oil and just, you know, mix it. And he says, yeah, mixing is fine, you can mix it. But this is what I really wanted to get, you know, for a long time for winter. Everything else works fine. Oh, and there was another load. Just wanted to mention quickly one last thing. This is something to do with trailers as well. And this was a case when actually my trailer, the drop side rail trailer, could have been used with a good, you know, with success. Some guy posted a load for a Cat 772, and he did not know how much money to charge. Hold on, let me just switch my light again. He did not know how much to charge, so he put $99,000, you know. And that's, of course, you know, attracts your attention as a trucker, you know. That's the bait, clickbait. That's the real clickbait, you know. And the miles were very short, just going across the border. But the dimensions of this thing: 15 feet 7 inches wide, 14 feet tall, you know. And they call you. Oh, and the interesting thing on this load board is that if you try to make a bid over there, there's like an option where you can make a bid. Nobody reads that. You send them an email, half of the time they don't respond, it's only phone. But if you click on their load and you open it in like separate window to see the details, they track that. I already had, like, I don't know, maybe 5 calls, you know, where somebody calls me and of course they don't know how many people, how many trucks I have, right? So they all assume it's a big company, and they say, morning, somebody in your office looked at my load. It was let me see, 9:30 a.m. today, and I was wondering if I can, you know, give you guys more information, or if you're interested in moving my load. And at first I was like, what, you can see me clicking on your load? The guy says, yeah, you know. So basically all you gotta do is just keep clicking and somebody will call you sooner or later. Just don't click on the same one that you said no, and then you click again, you know, they'll think, hey, this guy changed his mind. But anyway, so brokers are tracking this, you know. But so yeah, that load, 15.7 wide and it's 14 tall, and I figured on my trailer it'll be about 15.3. And you see, this is where a drop side rail trailer comes in real handy, because this load, it was 79,000 pounds, so not too heavy, but real wide and really tall, you know. And I have no idea how much to ask him, you know. I call my permit company. Oh well, so they don't know, like, is it, will I be allowed to move this or not? So I called Landstar agent that I know from the past, because I know they move a lot of this heavy stuff, like big stuff, and they, you know, they deal with all kinds of trailers. And I said, this one, 773 Cat, how did you guys move it? Did you move it as a single unit, or did the customer have to, you know, take tires off, take the bed off? And she started looking at her computer at the pictures, and she said, I'm pretty sure that, no, actually, wait, it's not 773, it's 772, slightly smaller one. She says 772, I think we moved a single load. She says 773, we had to take the bed off, you know. And actually then later I was looking online and I saw pictures. It was some kind of a trailer company, and you know how truckers, you know, send them pictures how they use their trailers, and one of the load was drop side rail trailer, and I saw this Cat, and it says 773, like the bigger one, and it was sitting as a single unit. But it would be tricky, because this thing, the wheelbase, not the wheelbase, but the span between the tires is so big, is that the front tires pretty much sit outside of the trailer, you know. It would be tricky to load this. But anyway, so I'm just saying this, that sometimes, you know, depending on what you want to haul, but with big and heavy loads, you know, my trailer is actually fine. It's and this Landstar lady said that, I said, what kind of trailer did you use when you moved the 772? And she says they used the beam trailer, you know, the beam that doesn't have sides, just have the center, like 2 beams in the middle, and everything is open, because this allows them to basically drive the machine over and then lift it, you know, and it sits on blocks in there. But that's really complicated. To me, it's a sure way to, you know, to get killed. I don't trust these beam trailers. You have to be really good with, you know, all these timbers, and how do you secure this? You only have 2 beams in the middle, right? You gotta know how to shim, you know. I don't want to do that. But anyway, so I think my trailer would have worked with this guy, except the front tires are a little bit too wide, but probably put some blocks under them, I don't know. Maybe they would need a crane, you know, to lift the front and put the front on blocks, because there's nothing supports it, you know, like the tires are off the trailer, even if you put boards. So anyway, that's what I was doing yesterday and Thursday, whole day, just trying to find a load, right? And so it didn't work fine, but something will turn up Monday, Tuesday. So for now I'm just relaxing over here, and it's been snowing, and you see the snow on the ground. And yeah, it snowed yesterday when I came to pick up my car. It was all covered in snow. And that's the Starbucks over there. Let's go get some coffee, make the movie, maybe catch a movie later on. So have a good weekend, boys and girls. Take care.